अमेरिकाले युएस एड रोकिसक्यो, भारतले पढ्ने विद्यार्थी फर्काइसक्यो, तर प्रधानमन्त्री र परराष्ट्र मन्त्रालय भने वैदेशिक भ्रमणका लागि निमन्त्रणाको पर्खाइमा छन्। हामी जो नेपाल हाँसेको हेर्न चाहन्थ्यौं, नेपालीको मन नाचेको हेर्न चाहन्थ्यौं, अब नेपाल बाँच्ने हो कि होइन भन्ने अवस्थामा पुगिसकेका छौं। लौ मन्त्रीज्यू, बताइदिनु पर्यो, यस प्रश्नका उत्तरहरू बचाइदिनु पर्यो।
नेपाल रहन्छ, नेपाली रहन्छ, संस्कृति रहन्छ, स्वाभिमान रहन्छ।
देशको भविष्य धितो राखी तपाई नै कुर्सी सिंहारिरहनु भएको थिएन र, तर अहिले आएर त अचानक लौ नेपालको अर्थतन्त्र कहिले चम्किन्छ त भनेर प्रश्न सोध्नु भएको छ।
हाम्रो देशमा भने सबैतिर ट्राई गरेर कतै केही काम नपाएपछि लास्ट अप्सन टिचर बन्छन्। अब त्यस्ता टिचरले पढाएका स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू कस्ता होलान् आफै विचार गर्नुहोस्।
विकासको कुरा गर्दा भने कान ठाडो पार्ने तपाईहरू काम गर्नु पर्दा भने कुर्सी समातेर बस्नु भएको थियो। एउटा सल्लाह छ, ती चस्माहरू फेर्नुहोस्, नयाँ दृष्टिकोण राख्नुहोस्।
बाहिर चिल्लो र भित्र खोक्रो भन्न पनि नसुहाउने भएको छ, बाहिर खोक्रो भित्र पनि झन खोक्रो छ। जसको शक्ति उसैको भक्ति, यही पारामा चल्दैछ नेपालको राजनीति। हराउँछ जनशक्ति, ल है हराउँछ जनशक्ति, हराउँछ लगानी, भ्रष्टाचारीले कहाँबाट गर्छ प्रगति। जनताको क्रान्ति, नेताको होडबाजी, कहिले देख्ने हो समृद्धि नेपाली।
पुल बनाउने बजेटबाट पुल मात्रै नबनाएर तपाईहरूको घरका पर्खालहरू कसरी अग्ला भयो भन्नुस् त। स्कुल सुधार्ने योजना त लेखियो, तर सरकारी स्कुल अझै किन खण्डर भए। बिजुली उत्पादनको सपना बेचियो, तर कहिले उज्यालो आएको छ त।
यसरी दुःखद रूपमा सरकारी विद्यालयहरू खाडी राष्ट्रमा काम गर्न पठाउने इन्डस्ट्री झैं बनेको छ।
Right, Honorable Speaker, through you, I would like to ask a question to Ministry of Home Affairs. India and Nepal share an open border about 1800 kilometers, allowing the free movement of people between the two countries. While this has facilitated culture and economic ties, it has also led to the growing concerns about security. The porous border has been exploited for illegal activities such as drug smuggling, human trafficking, and movements of insurgents. In the light of security challenges, what concrete steps is the Ministry of Home Affairs to strengthen the coordination and border security between Nepal and India border? How is the ministry working with Nepalese authorities to strengthen surveillance and strengthen coordination? If the ministry keeps on taking wait-and-see approach, we might end up reacting to the crisis rather than preventing it. Let's hope the ministry isn't just putting band-aids on the problem that needs surgery. Otherwise, we will end up with a border that's more sheath than a shield. Thank you.
Right, Honourable Speaker, through you, I'd like to address the question directed towards the Ministry of Home Affairs. Let's hear a story that should have never happened. Name, Lakshmi Thapa. Date of birth, 17th June 1988. And case, missing person. Last seen, 2nd October 2022, at the border in Sunauli. Lakshmi was promised a job in India, a better life. Instead, she became a victim of human trafficking. Every year, lives like Lakshmi's vanish, swallowed by the open border, exploited by criminals. And yet, where was the urgency? Where was the action? Perhaps those who should have fought for her were too busy arguing, too busy chasing power, too busy looking everywhere except where it mattered. हामी उठेका छौं, गर्जन्छौं निरन्तर, सीमा हाम्रो सपनाको ढोका अमर, शक्तिको दीप हामी आफै बलाउँछौं, अडिग भई हाम्रो मातृभूमि जोगाउँछौं. Lakshmi's story is one of the many. Her mother still keeps the door open at night, hoping that she will return. But hope alone is not enough. We need action. Without action, we lose not just lives, but our future. Right, Honourable Speaker, respected members of the Parliament, Nepal's borders are not just lines on a map. They are the guardians of our sovereignty. An open border brings friendship, but also invites threats. Today, I stand before you to present the Ministry of Home Affairs actions to safeguard our nation. A strong border is a strong nation. A weak border is an invitation to chaos. Respected members, the Ministry of Home Affairs is profoundly aware of the immense suffering caused due to the misuse of our open border. Every human that we lose to the dark underworld of human trafficking is not just a name in a file. It is a son, a daughter, a sibling of our great nation. Every drug deal that crosses our borders pollutes the lives of our youth and erodes the foundation of our future. Every ounce of gold, a rare material smuggled across our borders, feels like a fragment of our nation's own soul slipping away. But, respected members, this ministry is not paralyzed by guilt. It is fueled by it. Every sleepless night we endure is for Nepal. We work relentlessly because security is not a privilege. It is a necessity. And we will not falter. That is why we've taken decisive action. We've expanded border outposts from a mere 121 in 2017 to over 200 today. CCTV surveillance and drone monitoring now cover vulnerable spots, providing real-time intelligence. Rapid response teams have been deployed to restrain cross-border crimes. New anti-trafficking task forces work in coordination with the local law enforcement and international agencies. And while we focus on solutions, some would rather argue than act. A ship does not move forward when the crew members are busy arguing. While we strengthen border securities, they build roadblocks to reform. They deny progress, despite undeniable facts. Perhaps what they lack is vision. Mikha makanka chakkanka nya khanedai maku balaka. If you don't open your eyes, you won't see the light. Where were they when traffickers stole our daughters? Where were they when drugs ruined our sons? Talking, debating, and delaying while Nepal suffered. The opposition refuses to see the advancements that we've made, but facts don't bend to politics. Joint operations with Indian authorities have led to over 1,200 arrests in less than 3 years. Special investigation units have been established to dismantle organized smuggling networks. Border town development projects have been launched to provide alternative livelihood, reducing crime incentives. We are acting, not making excuses. And yet, the opposition remains disconnected from the people. While we walk the dusty roads, listening to the cries of Nepali people, these professional complainers, they sit in air-conditioned rooms, endlessly debating, as if their relevance depends on endless criticism rather than meaningful contribution. An owl may curse the sun, but the world still follows daylight. They may whine, but Nepal moves forward, with or without them. They don't hear mothers grieving, yet they claim to represent the people. But, honorable members, speeches won't secure our borders, nor will empty outrage. Action will. Security demands vigilance, policy, and enforcement. Some diagnose problems, we solve them. If you don't build the road, don't complain about the journey. If you want a safer Nepal, we must build it together. Ministry of Finance will fund infrastructure. The Ministry of Education will integrate security awareness. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism will promote ethical cross-border interactions. To our citizens, your Nepal's strength, your vigilance is vital. Together, we will raise awareness, strengthen communities, and protect our borders. As long as I hold this position, I vow to dedicate every ounce of my being for the security of our nation. My comforts mean nothing if my nation is at risk. We have lost daughters to trafficking, sons to drugs, and lives to crime. But we will not lose our nation to negligence. Do we turn a blind eye? Do we surrender? No, we act. We have two choices: take control of our futures or let our criminals do it for them. And I refuse to let Nepal be at their mercy. If not now, when? If not us, who? Nepal needs actions, not excuses, and we will deliver. Together, let us forge a Nepal that stands tall, resilient, and united. For our people, for our future, and for our borders, this is a fight that we must win. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now I request Honorable MP Shivani Paudel to raise the question to Finance Ministry, followed by Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Will Nepal's economy ever see a brighter future? Right Honorable Speaker, through you today I would like to raise a question to the Honorable Ministry of Finance. Every time we think about the economic condition of Nepal, we are filled with dismay. The NEPSE index has hit its lowest point in the past 5 years and the country continues to struggle with large trade deficiency. The public debt of the country currently stands at around 25 trillion rupees and the condition has worsened to the point where citizens spend more for foreign tourism than the country earns from its total exports. Are there any strategies followed by the Finance Ministry, or are they just going to stay hand in hand and do absolutely nothing to build the financial stability of the nation?
With the prior permission of the Right Honourable Speaker, I'd like to commence. I must first thank my esteemed colleague from the opposition for the question, though I must say, the sudden concern for Nepal's economy is as surprising as a fish discovering water. The very hands that held the steering wheels of this nation for decades now stand before us, shaking their heads at the potholes they themselves have dug. But let's indulge them, for it seems nostalgia has hit them hard and blurred their memory for their own past mistake. They speak of a struggling NEPSE index, a widening trade deficit, and a mounting public debt. How fascinating is it? Now, where was this wisdom when Nepal's economy was grasping for air under their rule? Where was this concern when their policies sent investors running faster than an athlete at an Olympic sprint race? And where was this outrage when they mortgaged Nepal's future for short-term political gains? गाई गोरु बेचेर डमरु किन्ने तपाईहरु अब आज आएर घर किन खाली भो भनेर सोध्नु भएको छ. How convenient of them to just raise a question objectifying their own past deeds and talk about when Nepal's economy shall see a brighter future. पहिले कहाँ थियो यो ज्ञान? उद्योगहरु तासको घर झै ढल्दा तपाई नै मञ्चमा भाषण गरिरहनु भएको थिएन र? देशको भविष्य धितो राखी तपाई नै कुर्सी सिंहारिरहनु भएको थिएन र? तर अहिले आएर त अचानक लौ नेपालको अर्थतन्त्र कहिले चम्किन्छ त भनेर प्रश्न सोध्नु भएको छ. ओहो, कस्तो अनौठो संयोग पो रहेछ. अझ उहाँहरू नेपालका नागरिकहरूले विदेशमा बढी खर्च गरिरहेको छन् भनी चिन्ता व्यक्त गर्नुहुन्छ. साच्चै अनि तपाईहरुकै पालामा होइन र देशलाई उडान मोडमा राखेर श्रमिकहरूलाई विदेश पठाइरहेको? A profound realization, truly, I must say. But let me remind my dear opposition colleagues, who, by the way, had governed long enough to have done something about it. About that tourism, industries, and infrastructure that don't just grow on trees. They require vigilance, infrastructure, and funding, which encourage growth, things that were notably absent under their watch. Now, may I present to you some steps that we have and are implementing to promote financial stability, infrastructure and development. We're investing in modern road networks, airports and railway connectivity. We're expanding hydropower projects in order to maintain the domestic consumption and exports. Improving digital infrastructure, we plan on promoting e-commerce and IT services. For industrialization and manufacturing, we are encouraging domestic industries to reduce dependence on imports, and we are establishing special economic zones, SEZs, in order to attract foreign investment. We are also providing incentives for small and medium-scale enterprises to grow. For tourism and hospitality, diversifying tourism sector beyond just trekking. For example, religious, adventurous, and even ecotourism. And last but not the least, we're promoting Nepal as a year-round travel destination globally. And as for the public debt, they speak of it as if Nepal's debt was born yesterday, when in reality, they were the ones who wrote the first pages of this story. पुल बनाउने बजेटबाट पुल मात्रै नबनाएर तपाईहरुको घरका पर्खालहरु कसरी अग्ला भए भन्नुस् त? स्कुल सुधार्ने योजना त लेखियो, तर सरकारी स्कुल अझै किन खण्डर भए? बिजुली उत्पादनको सपना बेचियो, तर कहिले उज्यालो आएको छ त? But let's be clear, debt in itself is not the enemy. Reckless borrowing with no return is. ऋण भनेको आगो जस्तै हो. सही ठाउँमा लगायो भने उज्यालो दिन्छ तर तपाईहरुको पालामा त ढुङ्गा पोल्न मात्र प्रयोग भयो जस्तो पो देखिन्छ Honorable Speaker, Nepal is not a sinking ship. It is a rising force. So to my opposition colleagues who ask, will Nepal's economy ever see a brighter future? I say this with absolute certainty and confidence. The future is not only bright, it's dazzling. The only ones left in the dark are those still blinded by the past they dare not acknowledge. Perhaps they thought policies were like New Year resolutions, made to be forgotten. And now I do kind of understand this situation. किन विकासको कुरा गर्दा भने कान ठाडो पार्ने तपाईहरु काम गर्नु पर्दा भने कुर्सी समातेर बस्नु भएको थियो एउटा सल्लाह छ ती चस्माहरु फेर्नुहोस् नयाँ दृष्टिकोण राख्नुहोस् हाम्रो देशलाई राम्ररी हेर्नुहोस् Thank you and have a lovely day.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now I provide the floor to Honorable MP Anush Paudel to raise the question to Foreign Affairs Ministry, followed by Education Ministry.
Right, Honorable Speaker. दशैं र तिहार रमाइला हाम्रा चुटका र ख्यालीले हृदय हाम्रो जुर्मुर्याउँछ जितको झ्यालीले बैशाखको तालमा नाचौला कहाँ मादले नरहे नेपाली हामी रहौला कहाँ नेपालै नरहे These words are written by Madhav Prasad Ghimire, a shining star in Nepali literature. Every time I hear or recite this poem, I feel my heart sinking as these words are slowly but steadily becoming a reality. Our customs and traditions are fading away because the youth who should be standing strong as the pillar of our culture and continue our legacy are heading abroad. Among the many youth who leave our country, a large portion face mistreatment and exploitation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs proudly states its commitment to promotion of peace and diplomacy. However, I question whether Nepal is truly upholding this principle when thousands of Nepali youth are subjected to labor exploitation and even human trafficking abroad. Does Nepal truly promote its peace and diplomacy by allowing its youth to be exploited and succumb to death on foreign soil? मैले यस सन्दर्भमा केही अमेरिकाले यूएस एड रोकिसक्यो भारतले पढ्ने विद्यार्थी फर्काइसक्यो तर प्रधानमन्त्री र परराष्ट्र मन्त्रालय भने वैदेशिक भ्रमणका लागि निमन्त्रणाको पर्खाइमा छन् हामी जो नेपाल हाँसेको हेर्न चाहन्थ्यौ नेपालीको मन नाचेको हेर्न चाहन्थ्यौ अब नेपाल बाँच्ने हो कि हैन भन्ने अवस्थामा पुगिसकेका छौं लौ मन्त्रीज्यू बताइदिनु पर्यो यस प्रश्नका उत्तरहरू बचाइदिनु पर्यो नेपाल धन्यवाद
Honorable Speaker, respected members of this esteemed house and my dear Nepali brothers and sisters. Today I stand not just as Foreign Minister but as a proud Nepali, a defender of our dignity and a voice for those who build our nation, whether within our borders or beyond them. I express my gratitude to my friend from the opposition for reminding us of Madhav Prasad Ghimire's timeless poetry. His words reflect our culture, our identity, and our emotions. But my dear friend, poetry alone does not run a country. If emotions could solve problems, we would have already fixed them by singing Lok Dohari every morning. Yes, the words are powerful. Nepali hami rahoula kaha Nepalai narahe. The poet asks a question, but let me answer it loud and clear. Nepal रहन्छ, Nepali रहन्छ, संस्कृति रहन्छ, स्वाभिमान रहन्छ. Dasai and Tihar are not just festivals. They are proof that no matter where Nepali goes, Nepal lives in their hearts. Today, even in New York and London, people fly kites in Dasai. In Australia and Middle East, people light diyos in Tihar. This is not culture fading away. This is culture conquering the world. Yes, many young Nepalese go abroad for work. And yes, some face hardships. But since when these Nepalese fear struggle? The same hands that once carried kukuris into battle now carry the weight of our economy. Sending over NPR 1 trillion in remittances last year alone. That is not a sign of weakness, that is power. Our workers abroad are not just laborers, they are economic warriors, building Nepal's future with every rupee they send home. The opposition asks, why are we allowing our youth to be exploited? But let me ask them, when has this government ever sat idle? Did we sit and watch? No. we acted. We signed bilateral agreements to secure their rights, strengthened embassies for legal aid, and launched awareness programs to protect our people abroad, but to bring them back. Stronger, skilled, and ready to build Nepal. To those who say Nepal is losing its culture, I ask, who told you that Nepal lives only in its land? Nepal lives in its people. It lives in the hands of a migrant worker in Dubai, sending money home so his sister can go to college. It lives in the voice of a Nepali scientist working abroad and carrying the dream of bringing innovation home. It lives in the heart of a soldier, a farmer, a teacher, a builder, whether they are in Japa or Japan, or in Ilam or Israel. Nepal is not just a place, it is a spirit. And as long as there are Nepalese in this world, Nepal can never fade away. So do not ask if Nepal will succeed. Nepal will succeed because Nepalese do not fail. To my dear opposition, complaining louder does not make you wiser. Criticisms without solution is just noise, but Nepalese is not listening to noise. Nepal is moving forward, and to those who still doubt, I say, watch Nepal rise. Watch our youth return, not as workers, but as leaders. Watch our land sign, not with struggle, but with success. Because this time, we are not stopping. Thank you. Jai Nepal.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now I provide the floor to Honorable MP Samiksha Lama to raise the question to Education Ministry, followed by Defense Ministry.
सम्माननीय सभामुख महोदय, केही समय अगाडि मैले एउटा भिडियो देखेको थिएँ। उक्त भिडियोमा एउटा पत्रकारले ग्रामीण क्षेत्रका साना बालबालिकाहरूलाई एउटा प्रश्न सोध्छन्। प्रश्न यस्तो थियो, अनि तिमीहरू भविष्यमा के बन्ने योजना छ त? ती साना बालबालिकाहरूले म त ठुलो भएर ट्रक ड्राइभर बन्छु, म त ठुलो भएर डोजर चलाउँछु भने। ती साना बालबालिकाहरूको सपनाले सहर बाहिरको नेपालको तीतो वास्तविकतालाई झल्काएको छ र ती बालबालिकाहरूको त्यस्तो गरिबी, अभाव र दरिद्रताबाट उम्काउने एउटा मात्र उपाय छ र त्यो हो गुणस्तरीय शिक्षा। तर हाल नेपालको शिक्षा अवस्था दयनीय छ। हातमा गन्न सकिने केही गने चुनेका विद्यालयहरू बाहेक अधिकतम स्कुलहरू सन्तोषजनक छैनन्। यसरी म शिक्षा क्षेत्रका केही समस्याहरू समीक्षा गर्न चाहन्छु। नम्बर 1 मा छ प्र्याक्टिकलिटीको अभाव। सरकारी विद्यालयहरू भनेको केही वर्ष पढाउने अर्थात् घोकाउने, रटाउने, गधालाई भारी बोकासरी ब्याग बोकाउने, दशैं तिहारमा मरी होमवर्क गराउने र अन्तिममा उक्त विद्यार्थी घोक्ने र रट्ने प्रवृत्तिमा उत्तीर्ण भएको छ भनी मार्कसिट प्रदान गर्ने संस्था भएको छ। कम्प्युटर, प्रोजेक्टर, ल्याब तथा प्र्याक्टिकल फिल्ड त सरकारी विद्यालयमा सम्झिने पानी छम्किने भएको छ। देश विदेशमा डक्टर्स टु डक्टर्स, बिजनेसमेन टु बिजनेस स्टुडेन्ट्स र ओभरअल प्रोफेसनल्सहरूलाई नियुक्ति गरिन्छ। गेस्ट लेक्चर्स, इन्टर्नशिप, इन्डस्ट्री सेमिनार र रिसर्च जस्ता अप्रोचहरू हाम्रो देशमा भने सबैतिर ट्राई गरेर कतै केही काम नपाएपछि लास्ट अप्सन टिचर बन्छन्। अब त्यस्ता टिचरले पढाएका स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू कस्ता होलान् आफै विचार गर्नुहोस्। दोस्रो छ राजनीतिक हस्तक्षेप। हाम्रा सरकारी विद्यालयहरूमा व्याप्त राजनीति छ। शिक्षा दिने र आर्जन गर्ने जस्तो पवित्र थलोमा पढाइ भन्दा लडाई र राजनीतिक पार्टीको पछि लगाइन्छ। म यही प्रसङ्गमा एउटा पत्रिकाको पोस्ट पढ्न चाहन्छु। द हिमालयन टाइम्स, स्कुल has started 7 months ago but students have no book. तल लेखेको छ, local authorities are actively involved in preparing school compounds. र त्यस्तो व्यस्त के को लागि रहेछन् त? For upcoming elections, but have done nothing to supply textbooks. त्यसै गरी टियुमा एक्जाम पोस्टपोन हुनु र पेपर हराउनु भनेको बिहान उठेर घाम झुल्कनु झै साधारण बनेको छ। केही शिक्षकहरू त्यसैसँगै राजनीतिक पहुँचका कारण शिक्षक बनेका केही शिक्षकहरूको क्वालिफिकेसन हेर्ने हो भने उनीहरू आफै शिक्षा लिनुपर्ने अवस्थामा छन्। उनीहरू न त नवीन प्रविधिसँग तालिम प्राप्त हुन्छन् न त उनीहरूको क्षमता जाँच्न लाइसेन्स एक्जाम नै लिइन्छ। तेस्रोमा छ लगानीको अभाव। आर्थिक वर्ष 2081-82 सम्पूर्ण बजेटबाट 10.12% छुट्याएको छ भने आर्थिक वर्ष 2080-81 11.26% छुट्याएको थियो। तुलनात्मक हिसाबले यस आर्थिक वर्ष 0.35% को दरले घटेको छ। अब राज्यले शिक्षामा जोड दिने इति र विद्यार्थी संगठन यति, त्यसमाथि पनि छुट्याएको रकममा अधिकतम रकम त ती शिक्षकहरूको तलब र भत्तामा नै जान्छ। यसरी स्कुलको इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर त नेपाली उखान बाहिर खोक्रो र बाहिर चिल्लो र भित्र खोक्रो भन्न पनि नसुहाउने भएको छ। बाहिर खोक्रो भित्र पनि झन खोक्रो छ। विद्यार्थीहरूलाई न त प्र्याक्टिकल नलेज दिइन्छ न बिरामी पर्दा उपचार सुविधा नै छ। राज्यको माल गोजीभित्र हाल प्रवृत्ति अनुयायीहरूले साना बालबालिकाहरूको खाजामा समेत भ्रष्टाचार गर्छन्। यसरी दुःखद रूपमा सरकारी विद्यालयहरू खाडी राष्ट्रमा काम गर्न पठाउने इन्डस्ट्री झैँ बनेको छ। यसलाई समाधान गरी जनताहरूमा सरकारी विद्यालयप्रतिको विश्वास जित्न र हाम्रा नागरिकहरूलाई समान एवं गुणस्तरीय शिक्षा प्रदान गर्न उक्त मन्त्रालयले के कस्ता गतिविधिहरू सञ्चालन गरेको छ। मेरो प्रश्नसँग म एउटा छोटो कविता पनि गुनगुनाउन चाहे। जसको शक्ति उसैको भक्ति, यही पारामा चल्दैछ नेपालको राजनीति। हराउँछ जनशक्ति, ल है हराउँछ जनशक्ति, हराउँछ लगानी, भ्रष्टाचारीले कहाँबाट गर्छ प्रगति। जनताको क्रान्ति, नेताको होडबाजी, कहिले देख्ने हो समृद्धि नेपाली। धन्यवाद।